You think you'll hear the screams. You think you'll see it coming. You won't. Outbreaks don't start with monsters. They start with confused ER patients, with EMTs who don't glove up fast enough, with a neighbor's cough, the one you ignore because it's just a cough. You're still picturing Hollywood, slow shufflers, easy headshots. You think zombies are dead. You think bites are the only threat. You think your house is safe. You're wrong on all counts. What's coming isn't a fantasy. It's biology. It's epidemiology. It's physics, collapse psychology, and crowd mechanics. And it's already happened, just not in the way you've been trained to expect. Let me show you what actually happens when a real zombie outbreak hits. The kind you don't survive just because you own a rifle and watched a few movies. This isn't fiction. It's failure in slow motion. Let's break it down. You think you'll see it coming. You think there'll be screaming. Chaos. Sirens echoing off blood-slicked streets. You think you'll hear the screams through your window and have time to grab a bag, lock your door, and become the hero in your own survival story. You won't. Here's how it really starts. Emergency rooms overflow. Not with the dead, but with the confused. Patients come in screaming, scratching at walls, trying to bite nurses. The staff calls it a bad trip, maybe meth laced with something synthetic. They restrain them, sedate them, report nothing. Cops respond to erratic assaults, chasing half-naked people swinging fists and growling in parking lots. They write it up as drug-induced psychosis. Officers get infected first. So do EMTs, nurses. Families who try to calm them down. The virus spreads quietly through the people trained to respond. Hospitals delay public alerts to avoid panic. And by the time anyone admits it's contagious, it's too late. Infection isn't magic, it's math. And once the cycle time drops below 12 hours, you're looking at geometric contagion. 2 become 4. 4 becomes 16. 16 become 1,000. All while you're still arguing on the internet whether it's real. The outbreak doesn't start with monsters. It starts with misdiagnosis. You think they're dead. You're wrong. They're alive. And that's what makes them worse. What you're dealing with isn't some corpse brought back by dark magic. You're looking at a brain with its higher functions wiped clean. No speech, no reasoning, no inhibition, just motor control, threat detection. Instinct. The frontal cortex dies fast. The brainstem doesn't. They can breathe. They can walk. They can run. And when the motor cortex disinhibits, the body doesn't hold back. It moves like a machine that doesn't care if it breaks. Pain doesn't stop them because the neural pathways that register pain are suppressed. They'll keep going until the tendons snap or the muscles lock up. And they won't stop just because you ask them to. They don't negotiate. They don't hesitate. They don't fear you. They recognize you the same way a starving animal sees meat. You're not fighting the dead. You're fighting biology without a governor. You think the danger is getting bitten. That's the fantasy version. The real infection doesn't care about cinematic drama. It spreads through aerosolized droplets, coughing, screaming, breathing, and it spreads through blood contact, one drop in your eye, and it's over. It survives on surfaces, handles, doorways, your own jacket. It thrives in enclosed air. The real killers? Shared rooms, poor ventilation, grappling and panic. Bites just happen more often because they lose all inhibition and their jaw becomes the default weapon. But the bite isn't special. You don't have to get bitten to get infected. You just have to be close. Close enough to feel the heat coming off their skin. Close enough to get sprayed when they twitch. If you can touch them, you can get infected. Bites aren't the danger. Proximity is. You think they're slow. You've been watching the wrong videos. Sure, they stagger. Eventually. But in the first 24 to 48 hours, they move fast, reckless, full-body charges that don't care about obstacles. The disinhibited motor cortex isn't cautious. It doesn't correct. It just sends signals. And adrenaline floods the system, giving them sprint range power without the fatigue feedback that stops a normal human. You're watching late-stage footage, people already dehydrated, muscles breaking down, joints locked. You're watching them shuffle because that's what's safe to record. No one uploads footage of a full-speed attack because the camera ends up on the ground. You stop when you're scared. They don't. They're only slow in the videos you survive. You think headshots are the solution. So do most of the dead. Here's what happens when you aim for the skull. They're charging at you. Their head is moving erratically. Your hands are shaking at 6 times the normal rate. You're panicking, breathing it too fast. Tunnel vision sets in. Your field of view collapses. You pull the trigger and miss. Or worse, the bullet glances off the skull and you just made noise for every infected in a 5-block radius. You burn through your ammo in the first 2 days. Then what? You think you'll be calm. You won't. And the moment the first headshot fails, your survival plan collapses with it. A headshot isn't a strategy. It's a statistical accident. You think your house will hold. Let's talk physics. Infected don't knock. They don't try handles. They swarm. Toward vibration, toward light, toward echo. And when 20, 50, 100 infected pile up against your door, it's not about locks anymore. It's pressure. It's mass. A crowd of infected pushing against a structure generates over 1,000 pounds of force. Even reinforced doors buckle, bodies pile, they form ramps. They break windows and crawl through with shredded hands. Your barricade? It's a coffin, waiting to collapse. Hollow core doors fail in seconds. And most people don't build fallback routes. They fortify one entrance and die when it's breached. A barricade doesn't protect you. It delays the moment you realize numbers beat walls. You think you need to fight. That's how you die. Melee combat is fantasy. You punch someone, now your knuckles are covered in their blood. You use a knife, you just sprayed bone shards and fluid all over your chest. You wrestle them to the ground, you're breathing in their exhale. Every second of hand-to-hand contact is another second the pathogen finds a way in. Even if you win, you lose. Adrenaline spikes, cortisol floods, you burn out in minutes, and now you're wheezing, dehydrated, shaking. Your immune system is down. Your situational awareness is gone. Survival isn't about combat. It's about disappearance. Avoid, angle, disappear. Control space and sound. Set traps, not fights. If you're fighting, you already failed. Here's what actually works. Method 1. Silence is oxygen. Tape anything that rattles. Ditch gear that clangs. Wear soft shoes. No running. Only controlled silent movement. Method 2. Air is the enemy. Don't seal yourself and ventilate. Use N95 masks and eye protection. Never share enclosed air with strangers. And never breathe near a corpse. Method 3. Distance is life. Stay 3 to 6 meters back. Use poles, hooks, leverage tools, get elevation. Use fire escapes, second floors, ladders. Never go hands-on. Method 4. Movement discipline. Never use the same entry point twice. Never fall into a routine. Move slowly, quietly, deliberately. Change your shelter routes every 48 hours. Method 5. Containment over combat. Set door traps. Use drop nets and weighted restraints. Build one-way kill corridors. Let gravity do the work. You don't need to fight what you can trap. You don't survive by fighting. You survive by not being noticed. But here's what you still don't understand. The collapse wasn't caused by the infected. It was caused by people. It was the mother who hid her daughter's symptoms. The neighbor who said nothing when his cousin came back coughing. The paramedic who kept working because he thought it was just the flu. It was the panic crowds, the riots in pharmacies, the flights full of symptomatic passengers, the hospital that stayed open one day too long. People spread it faster than the infected ever could, and fear did the rest. Denial is the first vector. Zombies aren't the collapse. Human behavior is. You still think you'll recognize the start, that you'll have time, that you'll hear the screams, that you'll make the right call. You won't, because it doesn't start like a horror movie. It starts with a fever, a cough, a silence from someone who always texts back. And when you finally realize what's happening, you'll be standing too close. The zombies aren't the nightmare. The humans who refuse to accept reality are, right now. Who in your life would hide the first symptoms? If someone you love got infected, how long would you pretend nothing was wrong? And how close would you stand before realizing you made your last mistake? Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, and share this with someone who still thinks they'd survive a real outbreak. Our other breakdowns should be appearing on your screen now. Watch them next, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new briefing.